Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of Corvus Factory. Last episode, we just ended off with Noriko telling Koji that she had requested Junpei Matsumoto's death through the human removal service. So she's pretty confident that he'll die this morning, and here we are, another early morning. And we're going to see if that's true, because Koji had some doubts and was wondering, would the Herald really kill his ally? So we'll have to see, which one is he going to do? Because Noriko doesn't feel like he's going to be up to Corpse Girl's standards if he's not willing to kill anybody, obviously besides themselves, because that would defeat their point. But we're going to go ahead and continue on here. If you can call it that, haven't gone to sleep yet, so it still feels like late night. Noriko has me in a short leash, thinks she knows it too. Apparently she specified this as the place of Junpei's death, didn't know she knew of it. This parking complex belongs to Junpei's apartment building and extends 2 or 3 levels underground. Again, Noriko specified the exact location of the death. The human removal service seems to take our user requests very seriously.
How much further in?
Shh, keep your voice down. I'm just looking for a good vantage point that we can hide.
Her words are severed by a violent gasp. Unable to speak another word, she simply points. My eyes obediently follow the direction of her slender finger. Is he already dead? Oh. Huh. Okay, hold up. Let me... just so y'all can see the full image here. So it's already happened. Interesting. That's definitely a girl. I mean, I think we can all tell that from the skirt and the boobs. This changes things then. Who is it? Is it Aoi? I could see it being Aoi, but I have a hard time believing that. I don't know, that skirt looks kind of familiar. Have we not seen a skirt like that on, like, Kurosawa or one of those characters? Her sister, that is. I don't know, I'm trying to think. I don't know, does Aoi wear a skirt like that? I don't know, I'm just gonna keep going. We'll find out.
Disappointing. Missed the main event.
Junpei Matsumoto is already dead. He's floating in a sea of his own lifeblood. Vicious stab wounds practically glow red along his back. After examining his remains, I turned my attention to the less interesting figure standing motionless beside him. What do you mean, less interesting? This is the most interesting person!
You.
The masked stranger looks like the villain from a B-rated slasher film. He's covered from head to toe. What do you mean he? That looks like a girl. Is that not a girl? Like, is that totally meant to throw us off? A zipped-up jacket with long sleeves, a hood, and a skirt. The cut of the figure's clothes combined with his physique give me the impression that he may be, in fact, female. Wow, geez. Crazy. Is this the Herald we've been searching for? The bloody corpse at her feet would suggest that it is so.
Mask.
It's simple, white, probably porcelain. Really? I wouldn't say that, but okay. It's reminiscent of something, some fictional character, or maybe some film villain. After all, the Herald still hasn't moved. She's as still as a statue, gaze vacant, her eyes impossible to discern behind the mask.
You're the Herald?
For the first time, the figure moves. It's a startling, jerky motion like a mannequin or a puppet being pulled by strings. I don't know. They aren't going in the supernatural direction, right? Like, that's not gonna happen? Maybe? I don't know. Her head cocks to the side, and she seems to notice our presence for the first time. But an answer to Noriko's question is not forthcoming. Step up to the plate.
Really immortal?
The Herald doesn't react to my voice like she reacted to Noriko. She has returned to a stiff, doll-like statue. Pretty easy to prove if someone or something is immortal, and I've always had a curious mind. Draw the knife from my pocket and launch it at the mannequin. The blade embeds itself in the thing's shoulder, and she doesn't as much flinch as a trickle of blood pools around the shining steel.
Mr. Hart.
Ojiro, why did you do that?
Shrug and take a step forward towards the Herald before Noriko tugs at my coat and holds me back. She takes my place and puts herself between me and the Herald.
Tell us who you are. We deserve to know that much.
Something in Noriko's words, the sound of her voice, or the tone of her plea causes the Herald to move once more in acknowledgement. The motion this time is quick, fast, calculated. The Herald moves a sleeved hand to withdraw the knife from her shoulder. She allows the blade to drop to the concrete ground with a dull ting. Before the knife hits the ground, the Herald turns her back to us and breaks into a sprint. I'm so lost. What?
Shit. Not cut out to chase her.
Okay, so the odds of it being a real person is kind of low. Only because who gets stabbed in the shoulder doesn't even flinch at all. I mean, I feel like that's just a natural reaction. That would take a lot of practice to, like, get rid of that just feeling. But, with how crazy people are in this game, it's not totally unheard of. I could see somebody being so crazy and so deluded and demented that they would be able to just get stabbed and think nothing of it. But who knows? Is that realistic? No. But could it still be a person? Yes. And it's probably a girl. Or they could be going the supernatural route, and this is like a robot or some kind of monster. Who knows?
Don't bother. We won't catch up.
Herald disappears in the darkness of the parking lot. We were left standing by the corpse of Junpei Matsumoto.
Well, we didn't see the killing, but
It happened.
at least the request was granted.
I like how they're just chilling around this dead body, like, yeah, nothing can go wrong. Nothing could go wrong here. Someone could just see you and blame you for it. She's right, her game paid off. The Herald killed her own ally. She has proven her convictions are strong. I crouched down to examine Junpei's corpse, but it's hard to get a good look in the darkness. Regardless, it's clear that the dog is
Should we
dead.
leave the body?
I like how he just calls him that. So mean.
Going to send a text.
Huh? Who are you messaging?
See if I can pull a few strings. Wouldn't mind if the corpse ended up at my morgue.
What are you planning?
Nothing. Really. Just want to prod and poke a bit.
Huh. Wonder what that could be. Norko's subsequent grunt is a clear indication that she doesn't fully believe me.
Do what you want. I've gained as much from this as I had hoped.
I let her trail off as I turned my attention to my phone. I swiped through my contacts and quickly composed a message to a few people in particular. If all goes well, an investigation team will shortly arrive to examine the scene. I'll be gone by then, but if my contacts do their job correctly, they'll haul Junpei back to the morgue. I pocket my phone and scurry towards the blood-soaked knife I launched at the Herald. It slides back into my pocket, and I signaled to Noriko that we should depart.
Goodbye, Junpei Matsumoto.
I mean, if they do an investigation correctly, they're going to see the body, they're going to see the blood of the Herald, and they're going to try to, like, link it together, you know? They're going to try to figure out whose blood that is. That would be good for us. She waves half-heartedly at the corpse and lets out a childlike giggle. A scant few hours sleep don't offer much in the way of refreshment. Have to be at the morgue again in an hour. Not that there's much to do there since the place was robbed. Perhaps a few more cadavers will have arrived. Perhaps Junpei Matsumoto's corpse will be there. I should take this opportunity to take a breath. Been a while since life slowed down like this. No requests coming through for Corpse Grill. No bodies to haul around town with Tomoe. No cadavers to catalog at the morgue. Life should be good. I'm still alone. And Noriko may decide to discard me at any moment. Why does that make me want her more? Do I want to prove my worth, my value? Prove to her that I'm worth keeping around? Don't know. Doesn't matter in the long run. After brewing myself a cup of coffee using the French press Tomoe gifted me, I take a seat in my chair. Sitting alone in the darkness is somewhat depressing, but it's only temporary. I won't be alone forever. Soon Noriko will sit here with me. We'll be together in the darkness. I'll make her see my worth. I'll make her love me the way that I love her. I'll make her fill the void that Shizuko left in my life. I'll make her treat the gnawing pain in my sides. I'll make her save me from falling into despair, from falling into old habits. Noriko will save me from myself, just like Shizuko once did. I don't know, this just seems like there's going to be like two yanderes just in love with each other, like that one comic series. Take a sip of my coffee. It's still a little hot, and it scalds the gap in my mouth where my tooth once was. Hurts. But I'll be okay. Didn't he say something about his tooth hurting before? It's hard to hide a smile when plans unfold perfectly. The body was here waiting for me when I arrived in the morgue. Staring down at the pallid corpse of Junpei Matsumoto fills me with more satisfaction than I thought possible. The dog is dead, and my early morning encounter with his executioner wasn't just some fevered dream born from wishful thinking. His body is riddled with stab wounds, deep, clean, piercing cuts. But these injuries were not inflicted by a knife. I'm no forensic pathologist, but these wounds are too thin and too deep. Each intrusion is about the width of a chopstick. Doubt he was killed by chopsticks, though. You can never rule out everything. My gaze pans down his body looking for anything of interest. The rest of his form looks ordinary. Nothing to note. I'll zip up the bag for now and return him to the allocated cold chamber. Interesting. So he was stabbed with something like a chopstick. Could it have been a needle, or, you know, like a sewing needle? They're pretty long, pointy. Might take him out once in a while to have a laugh. Wow, that's so messed up. As I raise the zipper covering his legs and groin, I have to shift his arms to fit them within the HRP. We got the HRS and HRP. We're getting so many little acronyms. and then I flinch, and my hands instinctively retract from the cadaver. I'm used to the ice cold touch of a body fresh from its containment chamber, the sensation of lifeless, preserved flesh. Thus, it wasn't the sensation of touch that caused me to startle. It was the sight of something out of the ordinary, something I'd somehow missed during my initial observation. Junpei's fingers. 5 thick, meaty digits on each hand. 10 perfectly intact, dead, but otherwise healthy fingers. Okay, so that's interesting because we know for a fact that we broke his fingers before. They should be not looking great. It's only days ago I pierced 2 of his fingers, his thumb and his pointer finger, using cheap metal cutlery. I can't forget the distinct feeling of plunging those implements through flesh and bone, pinning his fingers to a table. The corpse before me shows no evidence of ever being injured in such a manner. Nobody can heal wounds like that without medical attention. Even then, stitches and scars would remain. But Junpei Matsumoto's digits are 100% intact and puncture-free.
Interesting.
Come to think of it, didn't I snap another few of his fingers in half that time I confronted him outside his apartment? Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking of initially. But yeah, that is true. Like, there would be like stab wounds in his fingers too. Is this implying that there's 2 Junpeis? Or that there's multiple Junpeis? I feel like that's kind of where we're going with this. Like, the Junpei we see maybe each time is different. I'm trying to think. There wasn't like a huge change. I feel like there was maybe a change in his outfit once, but I not 100% sure on that. Sure I did. I crushed the bones with my own fist, but this corpse's hands don't show any sign of that either. Normal to the touch, no visible bruising. On a whim, I pull out my phone and open Noise. I navigate to Junpei Matsumoto's profile. Load a few profile images, swipe through them one by one. I pull my phone right next to Junpei's head, comparing the similarities between Junpei's photos and his dead body. Everything becomes clear immediately. Certain elements of Junpei's features don't match. His nose is broader in photos, his lips are thinner, more taut. The corpse in front of me is not Junpei Matsumoto. It's a copy, a clone. Junpei Matsumoto's death was faked for our entertainment. The body lying on the ground in front of the Herald was planted there before he arrived, planted to convince us that Junpei has met his maker. The Herald did not kill Junpei. The Herald simply used one of Corpse Girl's tricks and produced a carbon copy body. All in order to fool myself and Noriko. At this revelation settles in my mind, I came to another conclusion. The morgue being robbed was no coincidence. I can almost guarantee that the cadaver used to replicate Junpei's death was stolen from this very place. A weapon of deception, stolen and turned against us. And the morgue was targeted before Noriko even requested Junpei's death. Almost as if the human removal service predicted Noriko's movements in advance. I mean, they might still be able to have connections to what she's up to. But I'm not sure how that would work, because she's not on the Wi-Fi anymore. The only thing I could think of is maybe... I don't know, because that's nothing to do with Corpse Girl, really. Like I said, I feel like the police would have some kind of connection to intercept her traffic on her internet and her phone. That's my only guess, guys. All I know for sure is that the dog is still out there, still skulking around, working for his master. This is starting to get interesting. Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a twist, having a fake body, a fake Junpei.
Okay, I think I'm up to date. I guess it was a good thing you decided to prod and poke Junpei's corpse, as you put it.
Guess so.
I thought you were just being your usual morbid self, taking corpses for your own use, whatever that may be.
Yeah, we still don't really know. We don't have really good confirmation. Y'all were guessing that he has a literal skeleton in his closet. I think that might be true, though.
Don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm glad you acted. Faking Junpei's death. What's their end goal?
I don't know, because now that we know about the Herald and that whole sequence just made it seem like there's more and more of a natural, supernatural element going on.
What did they really accomplish by pulling such a stunt?
I don't know. Maybe they pulled a Joker and were just trying to send us a message. There's a million possible answers to that question. Can't know the real truth, not yet.
Obvious answer would be that they wanted to deceive us, make us think we have the upper hand.
I came to the same conclusion. They think they've fooled us, but we know better. Can we use that to our advantage?
Don't know.
I have to wonder if they would know about even this move. I feel like they could understand that Kojiro would probably get a hold of the corpse and be able to figure that out.
Sometimes you're helpful, and other times you're just...
What?
Never mind.
I feel like Kojiro's he's just a helpful guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's definitely like holds strong to convictions, but at the same time, he's willing to do anything for Noriko. So, irritates her when I withhold my thoughts. Just cute when she's pissed off.
I don't know what we should do next.
I don't know, you're the boss here. Or something. I don't know, maybe you're not.
We're kind of at a dead end, right?
Kind of.
Corpse Girl's website has gone silent. No one is requesting deaths anymore.
It looks like we still have a ton of dead bodies in here. She said we had like 2 and they were already dedicated to something. But literally the background's full of them.
But if I'm to believe the news, there are still dozens of people being killed all around the city, which means the human removal service is still as active as ever.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't have any cadavers at the morgue anyway.
Yeah, there's only so much we can do right now.
Can't exactly fulfill any requests.
True.
She sighs and rubs her eyes. Despite her tired, exhausted appearance, she's dealing with recent events rather well. For Noriko, at any rate.
Can you let me know when the morgue starts filling up again?
Sure. Hang on. There is one body there. Fake Junpei.
Yeah.
Not much use, though, I suppose.
No, not really. Keep me updated.
Okay.
She rubs her eyes again and tries to hold back a
You look
yawn.
correct.
Sorry. Things are tough right now.
It'll get better. You'll cause some deaths soon enough.
Words have the strange effect of actually cheering her up slightly. I know we're not exactly the most normal people. You think. Wow, you just noticed. Things we do, the causes we devote ourselves to. They are wrong. There's no other way to put it. I know this. I trust that Noriko knows this as well. We're morbid, sick, disgusting. Noriko slaughters innocent people in the name of Corpse Girl, her fabricated idol, or her alter ego, or whatever else she could be. As for me, I've got as much blood on my hands as Noriko does. She likes to believe she's innocent, but the truth is that she's just as guilty as any killer. I don't see myself the same way. I know for a fact that the things I've done are enough to put me behind bars for the rest of my life. I don't try to convince myself that I'm something I'm not. I'm a criminal, plain and simple. But Noriko is a kindred spirit. We're connected on some level that I don't expect the average person to understand. We're bonded by the things we've done, the death we've witnessed. Looking at her now, this tired girl, worn thin by stress, I can't help but be reminded of Shizuko. I hope they really show us what Shizuko looks like here soon. I think they're holding it back for a reason. Messed up with Shizuko. I didn't take the time we had together seriously. Took it all for granted. I won't make the same mistake with Noriko. I'll make her mine, and I'll prove my love to her every day. Perhaps I will convince her to not discard me when I've run out of use.
Want something to eat?
She glances at me and opens her mouth but weighs her words before speaking.
Thanks, but you know me.
I know.
Yeah, you don't freaking eat anything. What do you mean? I know so much about her. She doesn't eat, not unless she absolutely has to in order to live for another day.
Something light? A salad? I want to share a meal with you.
I can't.
Okay. I understand.
I do get it. It's Noriko. Her convictions are what I admire most about her. What would it say of her character if I could break her convictions with a simple invitation?
We should get married.
Huh?
A few days ago, you said you'd be mine.
She's like, oh, about that. That was a joke. Yeah, sorry about that.
I told you something like that, yeah. But that had a condition. You had to kill Junpei.
I mean, yeah, she is right, but that's kind of a dick move. Does that mean I don't deserve her?
Maybe there's something else I could do? Let me prove that I'm a man you can love.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
She's like, how can I make him do something even more extreme for me? I'll take that. It's better than an outright no.
Maybe you should get going for now. I need to sleep.
Okay.
I'll leave her be. Should get some sleep myself.
Bye, Kojiro.
Alright. Kind of weird how she's saying goodbye like that. Something about the way she says my name sends a chill down my spine. It's not a pleasant sensation. It's not a feeling of elation or excitement. It's uncomfortable, disconcerting. I shrug it off and leave the factory. Yeah, she's definitely not going to kill me at some point. No way. Is that Kojiro? Oh. Okay. He's just pulling her corpse through the street that we always see in the other CG. I have an uncannily vivid recollection of dragging Shizuko's corpse through the streets on the night she was killed. I had witnessed a collision. I watched speechless as the a-hole who ran her down drove away like a coward. It took me a while to gather the strength to collect her crumpled body from the asphalt. By then, it was around 7 o'clock, the sun had set, but a sliver of light still peeked over the horizon, tinting the sky of an orange hue. I just want to, so you guys can see this real quick. Yeah, she does kind of look like Noriko, a little bit, yeah. Could see it. People kept screaming at me. I will say, freaking Koji looks way younger, though. Wasn't doing anything wrong, wasn't trying to smear Shizuko's blood on the sidewalk, just wanted to take her home. She was hurt or dead, no point leaving her in the middle of the road. She didn't comment on my suit, got all dressed up just for her. Didn't comment on the ring, even as I slipped it off her stiff finger. She didn't say a word about the size of a diamond. Or I slipped it on, excuse me. But she made a unique sound as we walked. It rings in my ears now and then, especially when I catch myself in quiet moments. Ew, I don't like the sound of that. Didn't know what it was at the time. It punctured the silence between my heavy footsteps. Turns out the sound was caused by the fabric of her dress stretching and ripping against the coarse texture of the sidewalk. She made that sound for the entire journey home. My footsteps, thud, thud. Shizuko. Okay, I'm not going to read all that. The cacophony of irritating noise assaulted us during the entire expedition. Gosh. So, I mean, this is kind of sad for Kojiro, right? Like, this is kind of crazy. But also, like, what kind of person just drags someone like that? I don't care, like, how distressed you are. That's kind of weird. Wasn't easy getting her up the stairs to my apartment. I'd carried her in my arms dozens of times, always effortlessly, but during the final ascent, Shizuko's weight exceeded the limit of my muscles. I had no choice but to drag her up slowly, a single step at a time. Wasn't my fault her head cracked against every step. Once we were inside, I finally had the opportunity to examine the damage. Her limbs were flattened, her chest had caved in, rubs crushed, and ground into a fine dust. Remarkably, her beautiful face remained unmarred. She looked at peace despite having died in pure agony not long before, and that was the last time I kissed her. I planted my lips on hers and found comfort in the slightest warmth that still remained. I then closed my eyes. Well, that's both sad and gross. I'm just gonna say that. My memory of the event is so clear that thinking about it feels like I'm reliving it once again for the first time. The pain hasn't dulled. I'm glad I don't live in that apartment anymore. Climbing those steps every day would only serve to remind me of dragging Shizuko behind me. I kept myself free from the chains that shackled me to her, but I can never destroy the memories. I think they'll haunt me to the end of my days. Perhaps that's why I'm so desperate to fill the void she left in my life. I'm desperate to distract myself with the love from another. And yet, at that time, I didn't want to let her go. I wanted to hold her cold, lifeless corpse to my body and simply waste away so I could join her in the afterlife. In fact, I was so attached to her corpse I did something I'd never done before, not once in all of my history of toying with dead bodies. Oh, okay. Well, there's your confirmation, guys. Y'all were wondering if she was in that closet. Don't know whether it was out of despair or desperation. Out of despair or depression or desperation. There we go. Didn't know truly why I decided to do such an odd thing. Possessed by a single disturbing idea, I emptied out the small storage closet in the old apartment, discarded everything within, then I carefully, delicately, lovingly placed Shizuko inside the dark space. Oh yeah, because you're having to, like, tie her up to keep her body in there. She stood up against the wall almost casually, like she was alive. I held her in place with some rope fastened to the wall, a loop around her neck and a few bindings around her waist. She sagged a little bit, but it wasn't overly noticeable. There, Shizuko stood before me. Though her gaze was lowered, I could almost fool myself into thinking she wanted to greet me. Or she simply wanted to say goodbye. Goodbye, something I never considered saying to her. But I knew it was time to say goodbye to her, and to say goodbye to myself, that me that shared a life with her. So he talked about gaining the habit of saying goodbye when he leaves a room, or saying hello when he enters or whatever. I wonder if this is why, because she's technically in that room when he does that. That me that lived in shame of the things I'd done. Into the small storage room I piled the evidence of my guilt. The macabre and sickening paraphernalia I had collected over the years found a new home within that dark space. Photos of corpses, tomes written about embalming and mummification, countless books by Noble Sinclair, that author I held so dearly to my heart. Everything and everyone that made up Kojiro found itself inside that room. And with the last look at the girl, I slammed the door and locked it tight. Yeah, I mean, doesn't really surprise me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, nothing he just said surprised me at all. I feel like it's very in character for Koji, and it kind of explains, I guess, a little bit of his origin story. So I don't know why that was having such a hard time saying that. A little bit about how he came to be the person he is. Ceremonial act of locking away everything I once loved had a cathartic effect. But the moments after that aren't as clear in my mind. I know that I sealed up the room and concealed the door, but I don't recall the effort that went into doing so. I know that I decided to leave the apartment behind, but I don't recall talking to the landlord. I know that I tried to move on from being the person I once was, but I don't know how much I truly changed. Because just over a year later, I'm still in this world taking part in the truly disturbing acts. I'm still obsessed with the dead, and I'm still fawning over she's Noriko. Oh boy, is he gonna start assuming they're the same person? Maybe people can't change after all. Maybe I've been fooling myself all this time into thinking that I'm different now. But I'm not. I'm the same as I always was. I'm still just Kojiro. Maybe that's okay. Everyone in this game's crazy. That's all I can say. But y'all know this. This isn't new.
Some good news for you.
Really? What is it?
A few new cadavers were in the morgue when I arrived tonight.
Does nobody care that all these bodies got stolen, or that Kojiro's, apparently, not doing his job? Nobody? Okay.
Also, I was thinking...
What about?
something funny.
Oh, yes, I too just randomly think of something funny, mention it, and then don't tell me what it is.
We went to such lengths to make sure we didn't get caught stealing cadavers from here.
And?
Well, it's amusing that the entire place was ransacked by the human removal service, but no one ever investigated. No one here seemed to really care.
We tried so hard to cover our tracks, being careful about every single corpse we lifted. Then those assholes just waltzed in and stole everything without any repercussions.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, somebody in the police force, they're complicit, they just don't care.
It makes me sick.
Or I guess these guys don't care either, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe the police don't care, so they don't care. Who knows?
I want to bring them down.
Yeah.
There's just something just weird going on here. I'm like, is there some kind of, just secret world order? I don't understand.
Anyway, how many bodies came in today?
4. Not a great deal, but a start. Give it a week or two, and this place should be packed once more.
Okay, good. Thanks for letting me know.
Of course.
See you.
Later.
Since I've already cataloged the new arrivals, I figure I can relax for the rest of my shift. I plant myself on the uncomfortable steel chair parked near the morgue's entryway. A few moments later, I'm lost within the flashing lights of my phone screen. Don't know how long I zoned out for. Yeah, I've done that too when I'm on my phone. I'm like, oh, frick, it's been an hour. I probably should go do something more productive. But when I come to, Noriko's name is emblazoned across my screen. Strange for her to call me now since we just spoke before.
Yo,
You're not going to believe this.
try me.
Somebody requested a death.
Oh, good for you. Oh, that explains the excitement in her voice.
Congrats. It's been a while.
It's been far too long. I thought we were done for. I thought Corpse Girl's website had fallen into obscurity.
Happy for you.
Kojiro, we can't let this slip through our fingers. We need a victory here. This new request has to be fulfilled immediately. I want this victim to die with a bang. I want his death to propel Corpse Girl's name back into the limelight.
Roger. Awaiting your orders.
I'm sending you the Vic's photo. Get me a corpse that matches his appearance, just like usual.
Only got a handful of bodies here, remember? Going to be a long shot.
Do whatever the fuck you have to do.
Her icy cold command leaves no room to be misinterpreted.
Copy that.
The call ends and I immediately receive a message from Noriko. Opening up reveals the photo of Corpse Girl's latest victim. Male, mid-30s or so, fairly unremarkable guy. Let's see what bodies are in stock. I heave myself off the steel chair and log into the morgue's computer. Scanning through the inventory only takes a few seconds. There are 5 cadavers here in total. The 4 that arrived today plus the Junpei Matsumoto look like. Looking through the details reveals that of the 5, 3 are female and 2 are male. Immediately rule out using Junpei look-alike corpse for this request. It's a heavy-set body and doesn't match the victim at all. Need to take a look at the other male, but I don't like the odds of finding a match. I navigate to the cold chambers and open up the cache housing the corpse in question. The cold air spewing forth from the open compartment fogs up my glasses. Calmly remove them, wipe them against my coat, and return them to the rightful place. After unzipping the body bag, I met with the face of death, a sight I had become more than accustomed to after many long years working here. This guy's just as average looking as Corpse Girl's victim. Seems like the type of person you wouldn't notice in a crowd. He'd simply be a blur against the sea of bodies. Might be exactly what we need. I compare his features to those of the victims in the photo. He looks similar, but couldn't exactly mistake him for a relative. But maybe with a bit of Norco's makeup handiwork, he might pass off as a close enough copy. Only one problem. Unzipping the body bag further reveals that this guy only has one arm. His left arm has been severed just below the elbow, leaving a surgical stump. It's something that he clearly lived with for years because the area in question is clean. Probably had a prosthetic limb before being moved to the morgue. This particular feature is a deal breaker, too hard to convince the victim that his own corpse is missing a limb. Although, perhaps Norco could factor this missing limb into the cause of death. If I bloody the stump a bit, it could be made to look like he lost an arm before he died. Reach for the phone and call Norco back, getting sick of the chit-chat.
You find a suitable corpse?
Almost. Got a guy about the same age and build. Plain face. Needs some work, but could do the job.
Great! I'll send Tomoe over with the van right away.
Just one thing.
What?
The body is missing an arm.
Oh, that is a problem.
Yeah. Can you edit the corpse photo so that the victim is missing an arm? Make it look like it got chopped off before he died. That way, when he receives the actual corpse, he'll be expecting a missing limb.
No.
No?
I'm already in the middle of making the photo. I'm not changing it now.
Then I don't know what to tell you. Don't have any other suitable bodies.
Make it work, Kojiro.
Venomous tone again.
What can I do? Not going to roam the street and kill someone that looks like the Vic.
Come up with something else then. Hell, chop your own arm off and attach it to the corpse. I don't care what you do.
Don't tell him to do that. He might actually do it.
But I need the body within the hour. If you let me down, I'll never be with you. Our relationship is tied to Corpse Girl's fate.
Okay, that's toxic.
If you let her down, you'll let me down. And I don't like being let down.
My phone beeps twice as if to protest Norco, abruptly ending the call.
Fantastic.
She likes backing me into corners. What am I supposed to do? It's clear that she doesn't really have any intention of being with me. She's using me, dangling the promise of something I desire right in front of me. And yet, I need to have her. I need to prove that to her that she should be with me. Literally the biggest simp out there, guys. Lower my glasses and gently rub my brow with my fingers.
Shit.
I've got an idea, but I can't believe I'm about to do this. So slide my glasses back up and adjust them until they're comfortable once more. I fetch the mobile mortuary lift and angle it underneath the tray protruding from the open coal chamber. With a great deal of effort, I detach the tray from the chamber, rest upon the top of the mortuary lift, allowing me to wheel the corpse across the morgue. After pushing it halfway across the open room, I let the wheels come to a stop directly underneath one of the ceiling's glaring fluorescent lights. With that done, I turn and rummage around in a cabinet. I sort through a number of tools until I find what I'm looking for. Clutching the sterile implement in a shaking hand, I return to the corpse lying on top of the steel tray. Roll up the sleeves of my coat. No! Is he actually... He's actually doing it. I was joking. I didn't think he would.
Here goes.
Aww. I don't want to see this. When the metal bone saw digs into the soft flesh of my arm, I have to grit my teeth to refrain from screaming. Angle the blade so it cuts away from my elbow, need to leave this intact. The cutting process is pure agony. To prevent myself from passing out, I keep my breath steady and try to focus on something simple, something my brain can handle while aflame with pain. I begin to count. 1, 2, 3. Count the seconds that it takes for the jagged metal saw to reach bone. 15, 16. Just the flesh and muscle and blood spreading around my coat. 21, I think I reached sinew after 24 seconds, but it's hard to tell because there's a terrible numbness that is somehow worse than the original searing agony. Like, why? What even is this game? Why is Kojiro doing this? Like, I understand, but my fingers clutching the saw begins to slip due to perspiration. It's getting harder to even hold the tool. After some 32 odd seconds, the saw hits bone. Slide it back and forth, cutting the dense matter with as much strength as the failing body can muster. Bomb and drool have soaked the front of my coat and begun to smear together with blood. I feel like he's just gonna die. Like, he's literally just killing himself. It's forming a shallow pool at my feet, and the stench of mixing liquids threatens every one of my senses. Counting the seconds become infinitely more difficult. 43, 44, 40. Was it 21 seconds so far? No, it's been longer than that. It has to have been a minute by now. I've been sawing into my arm for a full minute. But the blade still doesn't cut through all the bone. Don't recall when I fell to my knees. Don't recall when I stood back up. Don't recall when running my slimy fingers through my hair, or when flecks of blood splattered against my glasses, or when my bladder relieved itself. Don't even recall why I'm doing this. Is it for Shizuko? Is it because I love her? No. Noriko. It's for Noriko. Actually, it's for Corpse Girl. I have to prove I'm worthy of her. I have to be loved by her. There's nothing else for me. 97, 98. As my count reaches 90 seconds, my right arm falls to the wet tile floor, flopping like a dead fish against the deck of a boat. I let out a groan when I can only be called a relief, and I slump in on myself, resting in the pool of foul liquid. My vision is blurry, my breathing is ragged. The sane part of my consciousness knows I need to treat my wound. I need to apply a tourniquet, or cauterize the damage, or I'm going to bleed out and die on the floor of my own morgue. But a quiet voice in my mind, the very same one that drove me to such an extreme measure, urges me to finish my work. Getting to my feet is a struggle. I try to push myself off the ground using both arms, but of course, I fall flat on my face when my right arm fails to react to my mental instructions. I think the lenses in my glass smashed against the tiles because my eyes seem to be bleeding now. A second attempt at pushing off the ground is more successful. My left arm is somehow strong enough to hoist my barely responsive body. I sway and stagger around aimlessly before collecting myself enough to attempt to finish my severed arm off the ground. Luckily, I managed to grasp the blood and vomit-soaked wrist of my former limb with one good hand. I drag myself towards the mortuary lift that holds aloft the corpse I need to attach my arm to, but I didn't think this through. I don't really know how to attach a severed limb. I bludgeon the corpse's stump with my useless arm, trying to find some point of connection that will magically fuse the limb to the corpse. It's hopeless. And as I madly flail the arm around, I can't help but laugh at the whole situation. Of course I can't attach my arm to this corpse. This corpse is missing its left arm. I cut off my right arm.
Good one.
Gosh, what the actual frick? Like, is this some kind of bad ending? Is Kojiro gonna die here? Because I'm like, what is going on? Throw my useless attached arm behind me and rest my weary body against the mortuary lift. Accompanying my laughter is the laughter of somebody else nearby. I have to listen really intently to confirm that I'm not just hallucinating, but I'm certain that somebody just walked into my line of vision, even if they are nothing more than a dark blurred silhouette.
Oh, bro, you don't look so hot. What'd you do? Cut off your own arm?
Oh gosh. I know the voice, but I can't place it right now. It's not my voice, it's not
Want me to
Noriko's.
take the pain away?
Yes, please. I'd give anything to remove the pain. I can't voice my consent. My mouth is dry and my jaw locked in
Yeah.
place.
Nothing a little fire can't fix.
The figure comes closer. He smells foul like a dog that's bathed in gasoline. A dog. The heavyset figure that I now assume is Junpei Matsumoto is crouched over me. The smell of gasoline intensifies as he pours some sort of cold liquid all over my
Maybe
clothes.
I gotta light this place up. But you guys didn't get the hint when we stole all of your corpses. Well, you ain't gonna be nothing without your precious morgue. And Corpse Girl is gonna wither away without her right hand man. Right hand. Get it, Kojimbo?
Kojimbo. The way he deliberately mispronounces my name really bothers me. It bothers me so much that the anger boiling inside me gives me the strength to open my mouth once
It's
more.
Kojiro.
Sure, bro. Sleep tight.
The dog lifts his body and disappears in oblivion beyond the sight. The unmistakable sound of a match being struck should fill me with panic, but I feel strangely calm. Warm, glowing tendrils of flame flicker around the outskirts of my vision. Fire. The entire morgue is alight. The acrid smell of smoke quickly covers up the odor of gasoline. Fire. I lost my family to fire so many years ago. Maybe it's fitting that I should perish in the same way. Fire. I hate fire. I hate it and I fear it. Fire. It's everywhere surrounding me. The sickening stench of burning flesh permeates my nostrils, and I realize that it's the smell of my severed arm being incinerated behind me. Closing my eyes. Really sleepy right now. Lost a lot of blood after all.
Sorry, Noriko. Sorry I loved you.
Okay. What am I supposed to say about that? What is there to say about that? Okay, and that was Act 2. That was the end of the act. Freaking Kojiro just, I don't know, just cuts off his own arm and then burns to death. Gosh, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was a little bit uncomfortable to read. Oh, and they're doing another month time skip. This time we're going to Aoi. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, I'm so mad. I really wish I could scream at him. I really, really want to scream, but he's one of the best customers. I just wish he would take the rules seriously.
I said no free refills.
The squeak in my voice surprises even me. Gosh, I've never yelled at a customer before. Feels so liberating. I feel free. The customer hangs his head, and he looks as guilty as I feel on the inside. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have raised my voice at him. Stupid, stupid. I'm gonna get fired for this. I just know it.
Sorry, Miss Aoi. I'll never ask again, I promise.
Make sure you don't.
That's it. Don't let him see you back down. Be firm, girl. Stand up for yourself. The customer scurries away, and I nearly faint from the adrenaline pounding through me. Gosh, this is like such a drastic tone shift from whatever just happened. I'm just, like, still in shock about it. I'm like, wow, really? Kojiro just freaking dies. That's how we're playing this. What a rush. I can't believe I didn't back down.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
But when I feel like I've calmed down, I fetch a cloth and begin to wipe down some tables. The place hasn't been too busy lately. I still shake when I think about the incident last month that drove away a lot of our customers. That man, that tall, scary man with glasses and an evil face. He hurt my sweet little Junpei. He cornered him in this very cafe and he stabbed his fingers for cutlery. I really wish... his vision was so bad so he could, like, hardly make out Junpei. I really wish he would have confirmed, okay, is this the real Junpei? Like, did they just use a body? There's not more Junpeis, is there? I mean, I'm just curious, okay? Like, did they just make a corpse look like him? Or what's going on? What kind of sick freak does such a thing? I know there's something between those two. I can't ever forget the time that man left Junpei all bruised and broken on the ground outside his apartment. I hate that man. She's like, oh, I hate that guy. Who does he think he is, bullying my sweetheart? Bullying? He's trying to kill him! You are downplaying this a little bit. A pleasant little chime rings out of my pocket, and I recognize there's a notification I set to let me know when the cafe is closing.
Guess I better get going.
Luckily for me, I'm not on closing duty tonight. My coworkers will take care of all that. All I need to do now is sign out of the employee app on my phone, and my full shift will automatically be recorded. Then I'll get paid on time, just like usual.
Bye, everyone.
I wave farewell to the other girls and duck out the front door. This is going to be interesting, because now we're getting it from Aoi's perspective. As usual, my cute little honeybee is awaiting me outside.
Sup, baby doll?
What do you mean, you're sweet honeybee? Is that because he's big and he's round? I rush into his arms to give him a big, snuggly cuddle.
I'm so happy to see you.
Of course, babe. I'm always here for you.
Hey, at least he seems to be a good boyfriend. That's
How's
nice.
your shift?
Not so bad.
Glad to hear it. Guess things really have changed around here.
Yep. It's so much better since the old manager left.
I wonder why.
Good, good. You come tell Junpei if anyone else gives you trouble, yeah?
I will.
I nuzzle into his broad chest once more and I immediately feel safe and warm.
Come back to your place.
Yes.
He holds my hand, leads me towards the train station. I'm so excited to be with him again. I'm really curious how this relationship started. I don't know about you guys.
Would you like tea, my dear?
She's got a pretty nice place. She's got a TV, got her surround sound speakers mounted. Nice.
Whoa now, Sugar Plum. You've been serving drinks to people all day. You go kick your feet up and I'll do the brewing.
Junpei is so thoughtful. Every word he says makes it clear how much he cares for me.
Thank you.
I heed his instruction and nestle myself comfortably into the sofa. As I wait for him to finish up in the kitchen, I scroll through my noise feed. I don't have that many friends on here, mainly just family members, but I still like to see what everyone is up to lately. Plus, Junpei always shares funny memes with pics on his profile, so I love seeing those. After scrolling for a minute, I come across a status update from a friend I haven't heard from in a while. Noriko Kurosawa. HEI3?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm just gonna have to keep playing. Maybe they'll explain what that means. If it has meaning. What on earth could she mean by that? When was the last time I talked to Noriko anyways? She used to call me all the time. I used to call her too. But somewhere along the line we fell out of touch. After I introduced her to Junpei, I kinda got the feeling she was jealous. Noriko always had feelings for me. Maybe being introduced to my boyfriend really hurt her. Oh, now I feel terrible.
Tea, my love.
Junpei sets down the 2 teacups on the small coffee table in front of the sofa. Steam rises slowly from both cups. The sight and scent immediately relaxes me.
Thank you, Pumpkin.
Ugh. Gross. Don't say that. Junpei scoots onto the sofa right next to me and he leans his head on my shoulder. I raise a hand and run it through his hair as I continue scrolling through noise with my other hand. A post from a guy I went to school with, Shinya Fujikawa, grabs my attention. Shinya with a capital S. One step closer to solving the mystery of the deaths around Tokyo. Ooh. Finally, Shinya's getting in on this now. Helping my father, Senior Detective Fujikawa, collect evidence from the crime scenes. It's like a dream come true. Thank you, father. Oh, so they're working together. Okay, this is the most interesting thing that's happened. I've been waiting for this moment. Interesting, I think Shinya always wanted to be a detective. Come to think of it, we were supposed to work together at Temujin. Shinya lined up the job for
Who's
me,
this
and I...
dude?
Junpei's gaze is fixated on Shinya's profile picture.
Oh, Shinya?
I tap on his pic and load his
We went to school
full
together.
profile. I scanned through his profile and read some more of his recent posts. Shinya, my father, Senior Detective Fujikawa, has enlisted me to help with his top secret investigation. It doesn't sound too top secret if you're literally talking about it, but okay. My lips are sealed, top secret. Such a dork. So happy that I managed to get a lead on this case to submit some information to the detective in charge of the serial murders around Tokyo. Okay, why does he keep saying that? We get it. And he said I can join the investigation team as a probationary member.
This guy has a real father complex, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe he does. I don't know. So interesting. Has this been happening all along? Because I don't think, like, Noriko's really on noise. She doesn't get her kicks from that anymore. I don't feel like Koji was super active. So interesting. So maybe this has been happening the whole time. But, these are pretty recent, though, so maybe not. Because we had the month time skip. No one tells you what to expect when you experience heartbreak. No one tells you how hollow and empty you'll feel. Aw, did they break up? It's important to throw yourself into your work. I'll do so, too.
Heartbreak. Something about this dude tells me he's never had a girlfriend in his life.
Yeah, he does, though. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's just a dork.
I wonder.
Farewell, my love. I'm sorry I couldn't be the man you wanted me to be. He just puts her full name to Tomoe Watanabe, my soulmate, my other half, my one and everything. Please forgive me.
Jeez, have some dignity, dude.
I know, it's so gross. I don't want to read that.
Oh, he really likes to share everything,
Sorry.
doesn't he? I swear, he never used to be this dramatic.
Junpei yawns and puts his arm around me. A classic move. He's so sweet and romantic. I put my phone down and snuggle into his body. He's like a big, soft teddy
I
bear.
should get going once I finish this cup of tea.
I wonder if he's dating Aoi just to, like, screw with Noriko. I wonder if that's part of the plan.
Really? Do you have to go?
Yeah, sorry, babe. I gotta check in on Mom tonight.
Oh, okay.
You'll be okay, right?
The thought of being alone forms a pit in my
Don't
stomach.
worry. I'll help you out before I leave.
Thank you.
Junpei takes one last sip of his tea and gets to
I'll
his
check
feet.
the usual stuff.
Yes, please.
He walks behind the sofa and ruffles my hair with his rough hand. The bandages wrapped around his finger feel coarse against my scalp. Okay, perfect. So they are confirming that this is the real one. As he wanders around my small apartment, he calls out to
Oven
me.
and stovetop are both switched off. The kitchen tap is off. No drips.
Moves into the bathroom, but his voice echoes against the tiled
Tap's
wall.
off in here too. And the shower is off.
Finally, he moves to the front
I'll
door.
lock this door properly when I walk out. You just have to put the deadbolt in place, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime, sugar. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Love.
Gosh, everything about this is so cringy, but I will say, Junpei is a good boyfriend, okay? I don't think anybody can deny that. He seems like a good boyfriend, at least when it comes to that. Maybe being a part of an organization that gets people killed? Maybe not so much. But this part of it's good. This part of it's good. He's very much a gentleman, very much unlike me. I don't do any of that. I probably should, though. I'll work on it. With that, Junpei walks out the door and closes it behind him. Quickly dash from the sofa to the door and slide the deadbolt into place.
All done. The door is locked. The door is locked. The door is locked.
This is some serious anxiety here. Take a deep breath and tiptoe back to the sofa, then collapse onto it. Junpei is so good to me. He truly helps me out. When I'm alone, I find it so hard to be sure that everything is in order. I can't sleep or leave the apartment if there's a possibility that I left a tap running or an appliance switched on. I can't relax if I think the door might be unlocked. I have to check things again and again until there's no shadow of a doubt that things are the way they should be. I don't remember when this obsessive-compulsive behavior first started, but I've been battling it for as long as I can recall. At the very least, when Junpei is here, he checks everything for me. He's so good to me. It saves me so much time. It stops me from having to stand in front of the kitchen sink for 5 minutes, constantly checking and double-checking if the tap is running. Logically, I know it's easy to see if the water's flowing from the faucet, but you can see it, you can hear it, and you can feel it if you slip your hand underneath the flow. But logic rarely applies when I find myself second-guessing my own senses. I glance at the faucet and tell myself it's been turned off properly, it's not dripping. But when I turn away, what if I'm wrong? What if it's actually still running? I feel like my mind is betraying me. I feel like I can't trust anything I see or hear. When in doubt, it should be a simple matter of just quickly checking one more time. The more I check, the less certain I become. And it's not just the faucet I have trouble dealing with, it's nearly everything. I unplug appliances from the power sockets to make sure they're definitely still not running. I flick light switches on and off 20 times in a row to ensure I haven't left a bulb on when I leave the room. I open and close doors repetitively and locks are the worst. I have to examine them from every possible angle to convince myself that no one could possibly break in. My condition is completely and utterly screwed up. Struggling against it has caused other horrible afflictions to evolve inside of me. Anxiety, depression, self-hatred. I just feel like I can't do anything with the shadow of my compulsive behaviors looming over me and controlling me. And so tonight, like many other nights, I decide to sleep right where I am, here on the sofa. Getting up and going to my bedroom is too much effort. Sleeping where I am is just much, much easier. I begin to drift off, my face planted against the sofa cushion, my legs draped over the armrest. Wow, okay, so Aoi's got a lot more going on than I assumed. Did not know about any of that. And we're already in September. We're like pretty far into September too. I'm thankful I don't have to work at the maid cafe today. My neck is a little sore from a terrible night's sleep, but I won't let that get me down. It's Monday, the start of a fresh, brand new week. Got lots of exciting things to look forward to. For starters, I'm expecting a delivery of some items I ordered online over the week. It's mostly snack food, but still I can't wait. Okay, I'm with her on that. Whenever I got something coming in the mail, I get really excited. Like, I'm always, like, looking for it, and I'm anticipating it. I mean, it's just kind of nice to know something's gonna arrive, right? Something to look forward to during the week. Secondly, I get to see my Junpei again this afternoon. I'm going to meet him when he finishes work. Third, my favorite anime airs on Monday nights. There's a new episode every week, well, except for when they run repeats after a season just finished. Junpei loves anime as much as I do. Really? I couldn't tell. Granted, he's not into my favorite series. He says it's a little too girly, but he likes a lot of other shows. We have so much fun discussing characters and stories we like, even if the show he watches scares me a little bit. Yep, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good week. My upbeat mood is instantly shattered when Noriko Kurosawa's name lights up my phone screen. She's calling me. We haven't spoken in so long. What does she want from me? Noriko, she's such a chore. She whines and complains so much about her life, but she doesn't know how good she has it. What if she's scared of leaving her apartment? Agoraphobia isn't that bad. I'm scared of everything. Everything. She's so selfish thinking she's the only one who has it rough. I'm so tired of tiptoeing around her feelings and her stupid sensitivities. I mean, I feel like you guys have a lot of problems. Like, each of you guys have your own set of problems.
Hello?
Because Aoi, I don't feel like sees a lot of the stuff Noriko's gone through. Like, Noriko definitely has some... Besides her psychopathic tendencies and, you know, killing people, she definitely has, like, some anxiety. Like, some serious anxiety, like, just about leaving places. She hasn't left the freaking... factory, except to go to the maid cafe that one time.
Aoi?
Which I'm really surprised. It's almost like she was a different person.
Hi, Noriko. Hey, listen. I know it's been a while, but can I stay at your place for a few days? I got booted out of my apartment for not paying the rent, and, well, I was living in this abandoned factory, but...
Interesting, okay. So she stopped paying the rent.
I can't do it anymore. I hate being there alone. The guy I was spending time with just disappeared, and now, Aoi, are you there?
Is this... Wow, Aoi, okay. You are very sour against Noriko. She hasn't spoken to me for weeks, months, and now she wants to live in my apartment.
Sorry, Noriko. You can't stay here. Well, fuck you too.
Okay. What is up with these conversations? My phone beeps twice and the call abruptly ends. What the hell is her problem? Before I can even blink, she calls me again. I'm hesitant to answer this time, but...
Noriko? Sorry, I overreacted. I think I'm in trouble. I think Corpse Girl is trying to kill me, and I need somewhere safe to stay.
Corpse Girl is trying to kill her. I think Noriko has finally lost the plot. Whatever sliver of sanity she once held onto has finally slipped between her fingers.
Noriko, Corpse Girl isn't trying to kill you. What? How would you know? You are Corpse Girl. Remember?
What? What? Hold up, what is going on here, guys?
What? How do you... I'm the one who wants to kill you.
What? What is going on, guys?
I'm going to fucking murder you in your sleep.
Oh, okay. Noriko's silence convinces me that her memory is returning. Perhaps she called me in some delirious state or because of some fever dream. What?
Shit.
The call disconnects me as she curses. Did she seriously forget who she was talking to? I've had it up to here with her. As soon as Junpei works out the location of her factory, I'm going to there myself. What the frick is going on in this game? What is everyone doing? First Kojiro, and I mean, even before that, Noriko was going crazy. Kojiro was going crazy. Aoi's going crazy. What the frick is going on? I'll let her bleed all over me and tell her that she's never meant a thing to me. I don't care how much she loves me. I'll end her life quickly before she has a chance to confess her feelings with one last gasping, dying breath. Once Noriko is dead, the human removal service will no longer have any competition. And I'll finally be able to take her place as Corpse Girl. What the frick? What is going on? Game. What is this? I don't understand. Okay, I'll read a little bit more because I feel like that would be a terrible place to stop. I'm just so lost right now. So Aoi obviously has been aware that she's Corpse Girl for a long time. She's very much involved with the human removal service. I wonder if that means she's the Herald then. I don't know. Could be. During our school years, I was always envious of Noriko. She was so beautiful, so slim and graceful. She had a wonderful family, parents that loved her more than anything. Never had any of that. I never wanted so badly to be her. I struggled with my weight back then, but that wasn't the worst of it. I had an abusive mother and a father that essentially ignored my existence, well, until he killed me by splitting my neck open. What? What are they implying right now? Okay, now I feel like we're going to supernatural stuff here. We gotta be. What do you mean you were killed and you're still alive? Game, what's going on here? I would have given anything to trade places with Noriko and feel alive again. It didn't matter to me that Noriko complained about every aspect of her life. She moaned about how much she despised her delinquent sister. She griped about how her father walked out on her, but still sent her a birthday card every year. Huh. Kind of like my dad. Anyways. She lamented over the time her mother tried to kill herself in front of her and her sister, how her mother hung from the ceiling buried alive for hours and hours until Yuriko figured out how to call for an ambulance. But I would have taken all that trauma over my own upbringing. I have traded my life for hers without a second thought. Noriko had no idea how lucky she was. It sounds like both of y'all had very messed up childhoods. After even all these years, I never really overcame my envy of her. I went so far as to request her death through Corpse Girl's website. Okay, so we have confirmation of that now, too. We didn't have any idea who did that. According to y'all's comments in the last video, because I was wondering about that. They never really commented on it. So apparently Aoi has been crazy this whole entire time. Interesting. But, you know, that's been most of the characters in this game. They have totally different sides to them. Of course she didn't die. How could she have? Junpei figured it out before I did. He forced his way into Corpse Girl's website and viewed all the death requests. Okay, I did kind of suspect Junpei. He looked like he was like a Daru from Steins Gate, right? Like he's a hacker. Someone, Noriko, had placed a comment on the request they submitted. A single line of text never intended to be seen by other eyes. That's me. Knowing that she had become Corpse Girl made my jealousy grow. I wanted to take her place. I wanted people to fear me, just like they feared her. So you're telling me Aoi, the girl that was just struggling to tell somebody that there's no free refills, is like this delusional woman that wants to be Corpse Girl, and that's probably maybe killed people. Okay. I wanted any other life, anything that would let me escape my own hellish half existence. Thanks to trawling through our website, Junpei soon figured out the whole thing was essentially a hoax. Corpse Girl had no ability to cause death. Noriko was simply trying to calm people into ending their own lives. It was pathetic and made me laugh. I decided I would play along with Noriko's delusions in order to ensure her downfall. Well, that's certainly a way to do that. It's finally time. I get to meet Junpei at the station and walk home. The Noise Corporation office is within walking distance from Shinjuku train station. Getting there is a breeze. So he works for Noise. Interesting. That could open up a lot of possibilities if he could get into things that he shouldn't be able to. Junpei works at the 13th floor of the massive office complex. He's one of the top dogs. He's worked really hard to get to where he is. I'm so proud of him. It's kind of funny to think I almost got a job near here. The Temujin building is so close to Junpei's office. Noriko and Shinya hooked me up, but I completely bailed on them. Oh well, at that time I had no idea the love of my life worked nearby. I think I'm right on time, so Junpei should be here any second. As I wait patiently, a familiar-looking girl climbs the stairs and wanders past me. Her outfit is kind of unprofessional. I wonder if she's an office employee. She looks a bit like a troublemaker. Where have I seen her before? She caught me staring at her. Oh no, she's walking towards me.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
Oh, interesting. Tomoe. No time to run away. She's right in front of me.
Yeah, you're Noriko's friend, right? Aoi?
Noriko's friend. Everything always about Noriko.
Yes,
Gosh, she totally acts like a different person. Why does everybody in this game, like, feel like they have some crazy personality to them? Like, they act one way and they are completely different.
and you are...
The brash girl swoops her hair out of her face and leers at me.
Tomoe, a friend of hers as well.
Oh,
I suddenly remember where I've seen Tomoe before. I think she was in some of Shinya's photos. Is she the girl that Shinya was dating and broke up with?
how is Noriko?
Dunno. Was hoping you could tell me. Haven't seen that skank in weeks.
I see. I haven't seen her either.
Righto. Well, see you around.
Just like that, the girl brushes past me, doesn't even look back.
Bye.
I watch her as she wanders along the platform.
Yo, babe!
What's up?
Junpei.
What up, doll? Hey, that chick you were just talking to? She works at Temuchin. I see her walking around here all the time. She's the one I told you about.
Wait, that's her?
Yup. She used to help that Kojiro asshole deliver putties for Corpse Girl. I've been waiting for ages to introduce you to.
I nod at Junpei and immediately break into a run.
Get her, babe.
Junpei's cheers fade as I leave him behind. Tomoe, she's the one helping Noriko up in Corpse Girl. We've been waiting for a chance to follow her. Junpei has been keeping an eye on her, but her actions and movements are erratic and hard to predict. But today, I fortunately have the opportunity to follow her. She's connected to so many people: Noriko, Kojiro, Shinya. They're all involved with Corpse Girl's operation. Shinya is not, but kind of, in a way, he is. Not directly. We want them to track them all down one by one and cremate them like cadavers. Of course, I'm saving Noriko for last. I'll slice her open and bathe in her blood and be born again from her corpse. Okay. Gosh, this game has gotten so brutal so quickly. Like, I understand this game has always been a little bit, like, kind of gross, and you know, it's got stuff going on, but I feel like they're amping it up here, I guess towards the end, because there's only 3 acts, and then there's, like, a final act. So that'll be interesting. I'll assume her identity and live her life and leave my own painful existence behind. Wow, okay. That's kind of messed up. She wants to become Noriko. I race along as fast as my legs will let me, my feet pounding against the train platform. Several people passing by stop to watch me out of curiosity. As long as Tomoe doesn't notice I'm tailing her, then I don't care who sees me. I follow her all the way to the end of the platform, then I blend into the crowd as we board the same train. Wow. I knock on the door. It's what I can only assume is Tomoe's apartment. She answers after just a few moments and shoots me a quizzical look. As soon as the door is all the way open, I dash forward and slam into Tomoe with the full force of my tiny body. We tumble into the apartment, though Tomoe doesn't even lose her balance. She's a lot bulkier than I am. She absorbs most of the impact, and she manages to remain standing. Wow, is she just going to try to kill her right here? She gets her teeth and plants her hands on my shoulders, only to push me back with a mighty shove.
What are you playing at? He just tackled me.
I swing a fist at her face. She catches me off guard when she sidesteps my punch and brings her knee up to my gut. I reel back, but the injury doesn't bother me.
Take that, you dumb skank. I'll teach you to attack me. I don't care if you're Noriko's friend. I'll put you in the fucking ground.
Wow, so Aoi is crazy. Just like everybody else. Her long fake nails rake across my face and blood pours from my torn skin. If I stand firm and stare her
You're
down.
allied with Corpse Girl, right?
Is that what this is about? I don't give a shit about all that anymore. It's all behind me.
You know Corpse Girl's identity?
Of course I do. Why? Are you curious? Got someone you want to have killed?
No, I know that it's Noriko.
You're damn right. I should have guessed that a friend of hers would be just as psychotic.
Apparently.
Noriko can go fuck herself for all I care. I'm done with her shit.
So am I. I'm going to kill her.
Tomoe raises an
That's so?
eyebrow.
Well, she kinda has it coming.
I see.
Corpse Girl is done and dusted. Doubt the public even remembers her these days.
I mean, it's only been like 2 months. Like, something like this would make, like, international headlines.
It's all about the human removal service. Noriko's just Noriko now. But I still won't forgive her for what she did to Kojiro.
What is she talking about? Does she know something I don't?
What happened to Kojiro?
Do you even know who he is?
I do.
You warned me about her, you know? He said she'd discard us as soon as we weren't useful anymore. Sure enough, she had him killed. Fucking burned him alive.
Interesting. Tomoe thinks Noriko killed Kojiro, when in reality, Junpei took care of that freak. He burned the entire morgue down around him. Suppose Kojiro's death caused Noriko and Tomoe's relationship to fall apart. Everything worked out better than Junpei planned.
Noriko will die, and so will you for your role in helping her.
Oh, come on. Why are you so insistent on messing with me? I ain't never done nothing to you. Hang on.
Even though this girl exudes an air of stupidity, I didn't expect her to be actually this dense. Surely she's figured it out by now.
The human removal service?
I don't say anything.
You're kidding me. You're the one Noriko has been fighting against this whole time. And you're her best friend.
Your point?
Are you the leader of your little group?
No.
Right.
When Tomoe pauses to brush her hair behind her ears, I strike. My hand darts forward and grips her throat, and I begin to crush her between my fingers. The girl kicks and flails. She beats my fist against my outstretched arm, but I don't flinch. Her gurgling and thrashing brings me no joy. I wish people would simply accept their fate. Okay, I'm really wondering if she is like the person that's going around killing people. It seems like she doesn't even flinch when she gets hurt at all. I mean, that would make sense, because it doesn't seem like whoever is wearing the mask does either. Despite how tightly I'm squeezing her throat, she manages to form the beginning of a word. I can only guess that she's trying to call for Shinya. Shinya, the idiot boy she already broke up with. He can't save her now. I tighten my grip and stride forward, pushing Tomoe back and pinning her against the wall. She kicks out at me and hits me directly in the knee. I refuse to buckle. Her fingers continuously claw at my arm, slashing into my flesh and sending flecks of blood across the room. She thinks she can hurt me, thinks she can fight her way out of her fate, but nothing she does will ever injure me. You can't hurt the dead. I wonder, does she mean she literally died, or, like, she died inside? Okay? Like, the thing about that is, like, it could be either way. And that would explain how she, like, doesn't feel pain if she's, like, a dead body. But then, now we're really going to supernatural stuff. I just wish they would confirm it. I need more of a confirmation. Like, you're hinting at it now, which they didn't really hint to at the beginning of the game. But I feel like the beginning of the game was such a way to throw you off of what this game is really about, right? There's so much going on. Thought repeats in my mind as my face crashes into the floor. A ringing sound in my ears causes me to question what just happened. The residual shockwaves of dull impact to my skull flow through my head. I wouldn't call it pain or even an ache, just a sensation that something collided with me. But I'm already on the floor, my lips pressed against the hardwood, my eyes twitching, and examining shards of pottery falling to the floor around me. A blanket of darkness descends over me. I hear the ragged sound of Tomoe breathing and someone's voice asking, "Are you okay?" The question isn't directed at me. I don't think anyone cares I'm lying here in my own blood. I can't count how many movies I've seen where characters claim they've had an out-of-body experience. I've heard the stories in real life too. People on the brink of death or unconscious tales of how they could view their own body from a lofty spiritual perch. I never put much stock into such nonsense. How could someone dead or dying view the world with any form of clarity? When I died all those years ago, I didn't experience any such thing. It was kind of disappointing, even though I didn't expect much. Being clubbed across the head in Tomoe's apartment was a completely different experience than the time glass shards pierced my neck. I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of consciousness, writhing around on the hard floor. I could see some light, some blurred shapes, and I could see my body down below, my body delicate and frail and slowly decaying. I don't get it. Why would I have an out-of-body experience now of all times? I sure as hell didn't experience anything of the sort when my father slit my neck, so why now? I wonder if any of my victims ever suffered from hallucinations like this before dying. Did Kotami Ida... Okay, so she said it's victims. I think that's very much confirmed that she is, like, the masked killer. Like, that only makes sense to me. Did Kotami Ida and all those people on the train platform experience this after I cut them open? Oh! So she was the one who did that, too. Good to know. Did they helplessly look down on their own bodies from above as the train screeched past? Emi Katsuno, and boy did she scream when I pushed her over the balcony railing. Did her spirit leave her body to look down on her splattered corpse? Interesting. So, I think we know what's going on now, guys. She was the one who was fulfilling Corpse Girl's wishes. She was the one that was going out and killing some of them. Makes sense. What about the other nameless souls that claimed from Noriko's website? There must have been so many bodies piled up, countless gifts pledged in the Corpse Girl's name. I didn't kill them because I wanted to shed blood. I did it to delude Noriko. That was the goal at the start anyways. Noriko never caught on to what I was doing. She took all the credit, thinking she was some sort of powerful being in control of the fate of her victims. She even tried to understand the truth. I slaved away for her, cutting and strangling, slashing and slicing. I piled up all those bodies for Noriko, but Corpse Girl claimed all the kills. It was a pointless endeavor. I think she would have spiraled into madness even without the power trip. Suppose it doesn't matter now. Things have changed. My only focus now is to kill Noriko. I should have done this right from the start. So, interesting. So she's known about Corpse Girl for the entire time. I wonder how exactly she was, like, getting all that information, though. About, like, who she was sending messages to and things like that. I'll kill her for wasting my time. As I look down at my body below, I see a girl too scared to go on, too scared to struggle anymore. It's a shame. If I wasn't killed years ago, I might have had the chance to live a normal life. Well, there's nothing else for it. I feel my spirit returning to my body. It's a strange sensation because I know I'm not returning to life. How could I? I've been dead for far too long. Okay, so confirmation. There is some supernatural stuff going on. This is obviously not realistic. I mean, not that this visual novel seemed like it was being realistic from the get-go. So, I mean, this doesn't surprise me. I just think it's interesting that they're introducing it so late into the game. I'll become her and discard this rotting walking corpse. What is she, like some kind of being that's like trying to take her life? Like going to quite literally live as her? Oh, I was wondering why it was blurry. That would make sense. You lost your glasses. Anyways, guys, I made this a little bit of a longer video, and we've had the death of about 2 people now. So both Kojiro and Tomoe apparently are going to die. Maybe Tomoe is going to die here soon, but she almost died in this episode. Just kind of crazy to me. I'm like, wow, they're really going to try to kill 2 people within the span of an hour. But, okay. Yeah, there's a lot I could say about this episode. I'm really curious to know what you guys think, because I'm like, I feel like I've been kind of quiet this episode. I'm not really even sure what to make of some of this stuff. It's been kind of like a bloody episode, and then just dropping a whole bunch of truth bombs about what's actually going on in the game. What am I supposed to think here? Where am I supposed to go with all of this? I'm like, oh my gosh. The story's just spiraling out of control, and I don't see where it's going. Okay, Noriko might die, sure, but why? Where's the point of this going now? It's just getting crazier and crazier, and it's just this absolute mess of a game. I mean, I really like it. It's good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's got a lot going on, and even more than we thought. So, anyways, guys, I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions, and hope to see you guys in the next episode. Have a good one.